Fathmath nurse was not from a rich family. She did not have a fancy degree from a foreign university. She lived a simple life. Her world was small but beautiful, just like the island she called home. Every morning she would walk to the local shop where she worked. The shop sold everything from fresh coconuts to colorful souvenirs for tourists. Fathmath's smile was the brightest thing in the shop. It was brighter than the Maldivian sun. People said her kindness was as deep as the Indian Ocean. She treated everyone with the same warmth, whether they were a local fisherman or a wealthy tourist. Her dreams were simple. She wanted a happy family and a life filled with love, not money. Her parents were simple folks. Her father was a fisherman, his hands rough from years of pulling nets. Her mother wove mats from palm leaves. They had taught Fathmath the value of hard work and honesty. They did not have much money, but they had a lot of love. Fathmath carried this love with her every day. It was her most precious possession. At the shop, she arranged the shells and trinkets with great care. She knew the story behind every item. She would tell these stories to the customers, her eyes sparkling with passion. She didn't see her job as just a job. It was her way of sharing a small piece of her island's soul with the world. The island was a paradise. White sandy beaches stretched for miles. The water was a brilliant turquoise blue. Tourists came from all over the world to see this beauty. They stayed in expensive resorts. They ate at fancy restaurants. But many of them would find their way to the small local shop. They came for the souvenirs, but they stayed for Fathmath. She had a way of making people feel at ease. She would talk to them about their lives, their countries, their dreams. She listened more than she spoke. In a world full of noise, her quiet attention was a rare gift. It was this simple, genuine nature that made her unforgettable. Fathmath never thought about marrying a rich man. It was not her goal. She saw the rich boys on the island. They drove fast boats and threw big parties. She saw them from a distance like characters in a movie. Her life was real. It was about earning enough to help her family. It was about enjoying the sunset after a long day of work. It was about sharing a simple meal with her parents. She believed that true happiness was not found in a big bank account. It was found in the small, everyday moments. She was content with her life. But fate, as it often does, had other plans for her. The world of the rich was about to crash into her simple life. 3 men saw this beauty in Fathmath. They were not ordinary men. They were the princes of this modern paradise. The first was Rishi Ahmed. His family was old money. They owned half the island, or so people said. But Rishi was different. He was a chef. His passion was food. He had opened a restaurant called Rishi's Love for Food. It was the most famous restaurant on the island. People booked tables months in advance. Rishi poured his heart into every dish. He was known for his creativity and his warm personality. He was handsome and successful, but he had a secret. He had known Fathmath since they were children, a connection that ran deeper than money or fame. The second suitor was Mr. Mohammed Rehan Ahmed. He was the definition of corporate success. He was the CEO of Rehan Private Limited Company, a massive import-export business. He was always on his phone, making deals worth millions. He wore sharp suits, even in the island heat. His life was a whirlwind of meetings, flights, and 5-star hotels. Mr. Rehan was powerful and ambitious. He saw Fathmath one day when his car stopped near her shop. He was captivated by her simple grace. He was a man who always got what he wanted. And now he wanted Fathmath. For him, she was a beautiful, pure escape from his complicated world. The third man was a global superstar. His name was Kim Tae-hyung. He was a world-famous actor, model, and singer from Korea. His face was on billboards from Seoul to New York. He came to the Maldives for a secret vacation, to escape the paparazzi and the screaming fans. He disguised himself with a hat and sunglasses and wandered into Fathmath's shop. He was just another tourist to her. She treated him with her usual kindness. He was shocked. For the first time in years, someone saw him, the person, not the celebrity. He fell in love instantly. He saw in her a piece that his chaotic life desperately needed. So there they were, the chef, the CEO, and the superstar. Each man was powerful, rich, and used to getting his way. They had everything money could buy. Media group, private jet on runway, luxury villa with ocean view, designer clothing on racks at distribute_equally, private jets, luxury villas, designer clothes. But they all found themselves wanting the one thing money couldn't purchase: Fathmath's heart. They started visiting the small shop regularly. Rishi would bring her his latest dessert creations. Mr. Rehan would send her expensive gifts, which she politely refused. Kim Tae-hyung would come and talk to her for hours, sharing stories about his life behind the camera. The small island was buzzing with gossip. Everyone was watching. Everyone was waiting to see who the girl from the local shop would choose. The attention was overwhelming for Fathmath. Suddenly, her simple life was not so simple anymore. The CEO, Mr. Rehan, tried to win her with his wealth. He offered to buy her a new house. He promised her a life of luxury, a world where she would never have to work again. He sent a car to pick her up, but she preferred to walk. He sent her diamond necklaces, but she preferred the shell necklace she had made herself. Fathmath was polite but firm. She appreciated his gestures, but she could not be bought. His world of money and power felt cold to her. It was a beautiful cage, but a cage nonetheless. She wanted freedom, not a golden prison. The superstar, Kim Tae-hyung, tried to win her with his fame. He told her about his glamorous life, the red carpets, the movie premieres, the adoring fans. He promised to show her the world. They could live in Paris, Tokyo, or Los Angeles. He was charming and sincere. He truly believed he could make her happy. He even wrote a song for her. It was a beautiful song that millions of his fans would have died to hear. Fathmath was touched by his affection. She saw the lonely man behind the famous celebrity, but his world was too fast, too loud. She was a quiet girl from a small island. She feared she would lose herself in the bright lights of his fame. Then there was Rishi. He did not offer her money or fame. He offered her something much more valuable himself. He did not need to send expensive gifts. Instead, he would bring her a warm pastry from his kitchen in the morning. He did not talk about a glamorous life in another country. He talked about their shared memories. He reminded her of the times they climbed coconut trees as children. He reminded her of the time they built a sandcastle so big that the tide couldn't wash it away. He didn't try to change her. He loved her for who she was, the simple girl from the local shop, the same girl he had been friends with all his life. Fathmath felt confused. Her heart was being pulled in 3 different directions. Any girl would be lucky to have one of these men. She had 3. Her friends told her she was crazy. Choose the CEO. You will be rich forever, some said. No, choose the actor. You will be famous, others argued. But Fathmath listened to her own heart. She thought about what she truly wanted from life. Did she want a life of luxury with Mr. Rehan? A life of adventure with Kim Tae-hyung? Or a life of familiar comfort with Rishi? The choice was not about money or status. It was about connection. It was about finding a home for her heart. The decision became clear one evening. Fathmath was closing the shop. It had been a long day. Mr. Rehan had sent a bouquet of 1,000 roses. Kim Tae-hyung had called her from his movie set in Hollywood. She felt tired. As she locked the door, she saw Rishi waiting for her. He wasn't in a fancy car. He was just standing there, under the old banyan tree where they used to play. He was holding 2 simple cups of tea. He smiled his familiar smile. "I thought you might be tired," he said. In that small, simple gesture, Fathmath found her answer. It was not about grand promises. It was about quiet understanding. She chose Rishi Ahmed. She chose the boy who knew her before the world did. She chose the friendship that had grown into love over many years. Their connection was not built on a few chance meetings. It was built on a lifetime of shared laughter, scraped knees, and whispered secrets. Rishi didn't fall in love with the beautiful girl in the shop. He was already in love with Fathmath, his childhood friend. He loved her for her stubbornness, her kindness, and her silly laugh. He had seen her on her best days and her worst days. His love was not a new, exciting flame. It was a steady, warm fire that had been burning for years. When Fathmath told him her decision, Rishi did not jump for joy. He simply took her hand. "I was always waiting for you," he said. It was as simple as that. There was no drama. There was no grand proposal with a diamond ring. There was just a quiet moment of understanding between 2 people who were meant to be together. Mr. Rehan and Kim Tae-hyung were disappointed, of course. They were graceful in their defeat. They wished her well and left the island, taking their big promises with them. Fathmath felt a sense of relief. Her world was simple again. Her heart was at peace. The noise was gone. 1 year later, on a beautiful evening, Fathmath and Rishi got married. The wedding was not a huge, extravagant affair. It was held on the beach, surrounded by their family and close friends. Fathmath wore a simple white dress and a crown of fresh flowers. Rishi looked at her as if she was the most precious thing in the world. As the sun set over the ocean, they promised to love and cherish each other forever. Fathmath new nurse did not marry a rich restaurant owner. She married her best friend, and they lived a simple, happy, and delicious life together, filled with love and, of course, very good food.